Yes, there you have it. A live coverage of the press conference going to get underway pretty soon with the Secretary of State of the United States, Marco Rubio. We're standing by to join that live press conference. We're standing by to join that live press conference. I hope everyone who's on the other feed come on over. Share up this live feed, because we want to know what is going to be said to the people of Jamaica and the people of the Caribbean. So come on over. We're going to see if we can get some live footage of when Mr. Rubio landed in Jamaica earlier on. Courtesy of the Jamaica Gleaner, I think. Yes. Come on over. We're going to see. There we go. We're going to have this. We're going to put up this right here. Come on over to, let me take this out of the way. This was the live press conference. Let me take this out of the way and go right here with this one here. Yes, come on over. Come on over to this live coverage of what is going on at Jamaica House. We're standing by to have that press conference. It's 11:28. I think the press conference is going to start at, I don't know, it's going to start at 12, it is 1:28 in Jamaica. In the United States here, it's 12:28 in Jamaica. I do apologize. I'm a bit tired at the moment. I don't know what time the press conference is going to be started, but we're going to have that live coverage of that press conference. Share this live feed for everyone to see that the Secretary of State of the United States, Mr. Marco Rubio, is in Jamaica. You can see on the other side of the screen there a live feed from the conference room, the newsroom at the Jamaica House, where all the media is, U.S. media and Jamaican media, media from all walks of life, media from the Caribbean. They are there hoping to get a live feed of what is going to be said. Let me call, maybe what I should do is open up the phone lines. I'm going to open up the phone lines for people to call in. What do you think going to happen? What is your take on this visit from the Secretary of State? What do you think going to happen? What do you think going to happen with the Secretary of State being in Jamaica? The number to call is 954-529-8030. You can call in and tell us what you think. 954-529-8030. Let's keep this conversation going until the press conference starts. I know sometimes those press conferences take a little while, but we need to stay over here to figure out what is the press conference all about. What is Mr. Rubio saying? As I said before, we need to watch the body language of the Prime Minister of Jamaica when he comes on out to speak at that press conference. We're standing by to join the press conference with as they put on the screen there from the other television station, high-level visit. The Honorable Marco Rubio, United States Secretary of State in Kingston, Jamaica. We also have the Chairman of CARICOM, the Honorable Mayor Amoy Motley. We also have the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and other Prime Ministers, other delegations from CARICOM is in Jamaica. I'm pretty much sure they're at Jamaica House right now. So, your views, what do you think going to be said in this press conference from Jamaica House? The numbers are 954-529-8030. We're also standing by to join the gentleman himself, Head Boy. Good afternoon. Yes, I'm going to do that right now. Thank you very much. Let me get this up and send it to you right now. Copy this. Let me send the link over. Let me go into this here. Bear with me, please. I'm trying to get just me alone here, and I am at work, and yet I am doing this. But God, see, I have to get this to the people out there. Let me stand by for me, please. Stand by. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen, people. Please stand by. Please stand by as we get this live coverage into the houses of our country, to all the people, that they can see We are going to send this in. We're standing by to join the live coverage of what is going on at Jamaica House. Stand by for me, please. Please stand by. We're trying to get some other people to come on to this in the chat room here to speak to us what they expect going to happen and what do you think the Prime Minister will say, and what do you think the Minister of the Secretary of State is going to say also. We're standing by to join this live press conference. This live press conference at Jamaica House. Let me also send the other link out. Let me get this out of the way here. Let me send the other link to my good friend who is trying to come on to the program here. Hold on there for me. Bear with me, please. Here we go. Here we go. We're going to send this link out too. This is the StreamYard link. I just send out the StreamYard link. Let me send the StreamYard link to also Head Boy, because Head Boy need to come on. I don't know if Mr. Ratigan is going to come on. Let me send this link to him. We send that link also. Let me send this one to Head Boy. Stand by for us, please. We're still waiting for this live press conference live from Jamaica House. We're also going to break away from this and show you some live footage or some recording footage of the Secretary of State landed in Jamaica earlier on. Let me see if I can do that with this right here. Stop this live feed and then go over to this and get a recording footage of the Secretary of State landed in Jamaica earlier on, where he was met by Camilla Johnson Smith, Jamaica's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. There you have it. He arrived in Jamaica. The plane landed in Jamaica earlier on. There you have it. The plane landed in Jamaica earlier on. And that's Air Force 2. You have Air Force 1 and Air Force 2. I hope Mr. Ratigan can come on and speak to us. I send him the StreamYard link. I hope he can come on and speak to us to tell us what do we expect from the visit of the Secretary of State. We're also going to break away from this thing here and go back over to Jamaica House, where the live footage from Jamaica House is happening right now. We're going to go over to Jamaica House. There we go. That's live from Jamaica House. We're standing by to join Jamaica House, where the Secretary of State, Mr. Marco Rubio, is in Jamaica. We want to hear what do we expect to hear from the Secretary of State, and also what do we expect to hear from Jamaica's Prime Minister. We need to watch the Prime Minister of Jamaica's body language. I don't know if our good friend Wilfred Ratigan can come on either by phone. He can indicate to me either by phone or by the StreamYard link I just sent to him. But we're going to see if we can get him to come on to speak to us some more of what do we expect from this visit of the Secretary of State, Mr. Marco Rubio, and other prime ministers from other Caribbean territories who are in Jamaica. The chairman of CARICOM, Mayor Amoy Motley, is there. And other prime ministers are there. So we don't know if they're going to speak also. Is it going to be a joint press conference? We don't know. Or, multiple press conference, I should say. I know it's going to be a joint press conference between the Prime Minister and the Secretary of State. The Prime Minister of Jamaica is the host nation. So we're going to see. Is it good? Well, some people are asking if we're going to step down. Okay, walking in divine purpose, no problem. Some people are saying that he may ask the Prime Minister to step down, like what he did to Bruce Golding. I don't know. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But let us see. Let us see if that's the case. If he's going to ask the Prime Minister to step down as Prime Minister of Jamaica. On what grounds, though? As we always said to you, that The Americans don't don't get meddled in Jamaica's internal affair, you know. So we don't think you're gonna ask him to step down. It's not really that something bad is happening. He's gonna ask him to step down. We all know that there is corruption in the country. We all know that the corruption stinks. But as what the American embassy said in a joint statement with the British embassy, that for Jamaica to turn out from what is going on in Jamaica, the people of Jamaica have to stand up for themselves. And that is what the embassy is saying, or the ambassador they were saying earlier on in a joint press conference or in a joint release in the Guyana about a year or two ago. So, you know, we need to know, and we need as Jamaicans to stand up for ourselves. We're not going to wait on the Americans to stand up for us because it is an internal problem. And Jamaica is a sovereign state. Gigi, welcome, Gigi. Where are we for lunch today, Gigi? Jamaica is a sovereign state, and we must stand up for ourselves. For those who wishes to call in to tell us what you think Mr. Rubio will be talking to the Prime Minister about, the numbers are 954-529-8030. 954-529-8030. The numbers to call into the program to what you think Mr. Marco Rubio will be saying to the Jamaican Prime Minister at this press conference, or what, you know, watch the body language. The numbers to call in is 954-529-8030. It's also a WhatsApp number. You can call in and talk to us. Share this live feed. We're standing by to join a press conference with the Secretary of State of the United States, Mr. Marco Rubio, Jamaica's Prime Minister, the Honorable Andrew Michael Holness, and other Caribbean leaders. The chairman of CARICOM is there. Prime Minister Motley, she's also there. I don't know if Prime Minister Ralph Gonzalez from St. Vincent and the Grenadines is there, but I know Prime Minister Motley is there. The visit here by the Secretary of State is based on the ties that Jamaica has with China. Let me get this out of the way. Hold on for me, please. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Mek Wi Talk program. You're live. Hello, good afternoon. Hold on for me. I don't know what's going on here. Hold on for me, please. Hold on. Yes, go ahead for me now, please.
What I would like him to tell the press.
Hold on for me. Let me go back to this here. Hold on for me, please. Let me kind of go back to this. Go ahead for me, please.
Yes, I would like him to tell the Prime Minister to get the Chinese them the hell out of Jamaica. And that is only what I have to say.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks for calling in.
Right.
Thank you. Wow. What is your take on the President and the Secretary of State in Jamaica? The numbers to call, 954. Miss Winnie, can call back. Miss Winnie? Good afternoon. Welcome to the Mek Wi Talk program. You're live. Hold on, Miss Winnie. Hold on, Miss Winnie. I don't know what on earth is going on here today. Go ahead, Miss Winnie. Yes, go ahead.
I said the American going to want their own way, and I don't know what Jamaica going to do, but all I know that I hope for once he can, have a conscience and stick with the Cuban. But because the Cuban help everybody in the West Indies. Look what they've done for Jamaica. They've done for other Caribbean countries and Africa. What I know I don't want the Chinese, but we are indebted to the Chinese already. So what if we choose? Are they Or can we afford to pay off the Chinese?
I don't know, because Jamaica is indebted to China in the tune of a couple billion. Well,
yes, 15 years I was told once.
50 years for what?
For the amount of money China gives to Jamaica and spend in Jamaica.
No. It's not that. They have they may build a road and well, let me not go down that road. I don't know.
Because they're the one who getting the toll money, They're the building road and the toll money belong to them. I know that for a fact. It's not for Jamaica getting the toll money, it's the Chinese.
Because Jamaica signed deals with them, ma'am, that they have to pay them back the money.
And don't let the public know what deals they're signing.
No, it's not. No. Miss Cherry. Miss Winnie, hold on a minute. Miss Winnie, hold on a minute. The two political parties have signed deals with the Chinese about roads.
And they should let the public know what they do.
Hold on.
They should let us know. I don't care what party they should let us know. I don't care about no political party. From they let the public know, from it's not top secret. I can understand the top secret, but things like that, the public should know what they're doing.
Well, they don't.
You understand?
And what I'm saying,
I don't care about no party right
Miss Winnie.
Country where I'm living right now. Nobody else cannot do that.
Miss Winnie, hold a minute for me. What I'm trying to say to you also is that they have signed deals all in the name of road. Hold on a minute. I agree with you that when they sign memorandum of understanding, they should let the people know. All right? Because many of us do not know about access to information. We don't go and find out about that. All right? And I agree with you that the way going forward, we the Jamaican people should know what deals they're signing and what contracts they're signing in building roads. Because one sign a deal to give away Jamaica watershed lands, and the other one just come in and do not dispute it. It just went on the same way.
I can tell you, son, I'm living in a country, but the east side, they let them know what. We let them know they're going to give you 20 billion. You let them know, and what the grounds that you're getting the money. Not Jamaica, I'm telling this one, eat the words. It's a sign. No,
it's not him alone signing them, Miss Winnie. Jamaica did not get to where Jamaica is under one administration. It's not him alone sign. You're breaking up, Miss Winnie.
I'm sorry, I'm just moved to the kitchen and the internet is not so wonderful here. I'm telling you, sir, they got to stop this nonsense now. And they got to swear to the people that they will not do anything unless it's top secret. You understand? Anything public, the public should know it's not BDRC. It's a country now is indebted to China. America can't back for what they give.
America can do what? Huh? America can do what?
America give us a lot of money as well, didn't they? This man here called Trump, he can ask back for it because he's mad. Going on and the people in Jamaica only I'm party, I'm this. About what they got to pay back. You go in the supermarket, you got to pay. You go in the you got to pay. You do everything. And no one think of the poor man. It's all right for the rich man, don't care what he spend. But the poor man have to go and count his little silver, what he's got to spend. Huh? Can you imagine a cousin of mine gets 60,000 light bill and only 2 people living in the house? All those kind of nonsense. Anyway, Mr. Jeffrey, I think I will never come back to Jamaica to live. Never. Because I already out there. Because from I was little, I stick up for rights. And what they're doing is wrong.
Yes,
what they're doing is wrong. The people what they sign away. As I said, if it's top secret, we must not know. But if it's, they should have a meeting and let the people press conference and let the people know they get the money to do this or to do that. Now the hospital, look at it, the hospital don't have nothing out here. Huh?
All right, Miss Winnie.
Have a wonderful day. You too, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The number to call is 954-529-8030. What is your views on Marco Rubio coming into Jamaica? Do you think he's going to tell the Prime Minister to tell the Chinese to take a hike? What do you think going to happen? 954-529-8030. That's the number to call into the program. Let me try something here. Hold on for me. Good afternoon. Welcome to our program. You're live.
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Jeffrey, and your listener.
Yes, ma'am.
The milk already spilled. We cannot continue with it. But this is what we need to do now. We need leaders who have strong backbones to stand up and take back our country, resources, and control it. No, we don't need America and China to come and have it like when dog a fight over dead meat. Wanna pull their necks when they wanna pull the other way. We need competent leaders. That's what we need to get in place now.
Caller, the country is flat broke, you know. Jamaica have no money, you know. So we have to beg, we have to borrow.
Yeah, but what happened to our resources, Mr. Jeffrey? What happened to our resources?
We don't have any. You gone. And we must face reality.
So all those money that they scrape from us, all the resources, money that they scrape, what happened?
Well, over the years,
This is what we need to ask the government about.
over the years, this has been going on, you know. From 1961 until now, have been going on. It don't none stop. Hello?
But we can't continue and make people have like a yo-yo.
Well,
Everybody comes just to take a piece of Jamaica because of what? We do not have no competent leader. But PNP and JP soak up the country, you know.
indeed.
And all we have to say now, we have to get together and begin to put our head and heart together. The milk already spilled. So guess what? We have to clean up and move forward now.
All right, ma'am. Have a next call coming in, my dear. Thanks for calling in.
Okay?
Thanks. Good afternoon. Welcome to Mek Wi Talk program. You're live.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tavares.
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Canada.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right, Mr. Rubio is in Jamaica, and I'm following it closely. 3 questions I would like the Prime Minister to ask Mr. Rubio. How does he plan to stop the flow of guns coming into Jamaica that is driving up our crime rate? 2, if he asks the Cuban doctors and nurses to leave, how he's going to help Jamaica to fill that gap? And 3, if he asks the Chinese to leave Jamaica, how will he plan to fill that gap? Because we are getting more assistance from China than we are getting from America in terms of our infrastructure development. So those are the 3 questions I like the Prime Minister to ask.
Okay, sir.
What is your comment on that?
Well, my take on it, you know, is that Jamaica is a sovereign state.
Yes.
Jamaica is a sovereign state, and we must be careful. We must be careful what we allow in our country. You know, I do not believe that one country should have a foothold in Jamaica only, and Jamaica has allowed the Chinese to do so much investment in Jamaica in the sense of they're all building housing trust homes too, and that should not be the case. All right, sir. Thanks for calling. Now, thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome to our program. You're live.
Yes, good afternoon.
Turn off your TV in the background for me, please, sir.
Alright, sir, no problem. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm calling about the Chinese them in Jamaica, sir.
Uh-huh.
God bless the Chinese them, you know. Because black man can't run business, you know.
Why black man can't run business?
As they start make $2 little dollars, man, then get out there now, up in early, have to wait for and go call. If you check downtown, Mr. Chin, them up in for early and I wait for you. You can't get any little cheap things to buy, any little hustler them on the street can get things to do. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
And right now, China the new superpower, so I have to move to them. America have nothing for offer to wheel. They don't come tell you what to do and left way.
Okay.
We can't rely upon them and the Chinese, them a new superpower, I have to lean to them, so let people start speaking Chinese from now, sir.
Alright, sir. Thanks for calling in.
Okay, sir.
Good afternoon. Welcome to our program. You're live. Go ahead. Where are you calling from?
We're calling from New York. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, I've been just putting into the gentleman that call about stopping guns and crime and drugs. Jamaica get them to stop gun and drugs from coming in the country, but the Jamaican government refuses it. Jamaican government refuses it. I was down the Prime Minister and all of them refuse it. So it's not about, and the borders still open because people still coming through from 80 gun and drugs even last week. The country open to everything. There's no security in the country.
Yes.
And that's my one thing I've got to put in person, and you're gonna go into.
Thank you very much for calling in, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. The numbers to call is 954-529-8030. Your views on Marco Rubio visit to Jamaica. Your views on the Secretary of State visit to Jamaica. 954-529-8030. On the screen we have a live feed coming into us from Jamaica House. That's a live feed coming into us from Jamaica House. And we're standing by to join that live press conference with the Prime Minister of Jamaica and the President and the Secretary of State, I should say, sir, the President, and the Secretary of State of the United States, Mr. Marco Rubio. We're standing by to join that live feed. Tell us your views. What do you think is going to happen to the Cubans who are in Jamaica? And what do you think he's going to say to the Jamaican government about the Chinese in Jamaica? They have the ports. They're building houses in Jamaica now. And, you know, my take on it is that you cannot have one. Now is a country. You cannot have one country in so much. Good afternoon. Welcome to our program. You're live. Where are you calling from?
Calling from Brooklyn, New York.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think our Jamaica need to try to find a way to get their independence in a way that will be supportive to the country. Because if they go on to let America take over, they're gonna have another problem different from the Chinese. Because Cuba is helping us a lot. And when they tried to do the same thing to Cuba in the 60s, when they tried to bully them to follow their views and their rules. And Castro didn't allow them to do that because Castro was for uplifting the Caribbean and uplifting the people. And we as the Caribbean needs to unite. And the people need to be educated. So it's coming from a cellular level. A lot of the people there is illiterate and not educated, and they're taking advantage of the people and they're filling their own pockets.
Let me ask you a question, ma'am. When did Jamaica and the United States sign diplomatic immunity? When did Jamaica and the United States sign diplomatic ties?
Jamaica and the United States? I don't know when they signed that. I don't know. But all I know is that...
Hold on for me. Do you know when Jamaica and China signed diplomatic ties?
No.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah.
The number to call is 954-529-8030. 954-529-8030. That's the number to call into the program. It's also a WhatsApp number. It's running across your screen. What is your views on the United States Secretary of State in Jamaica? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think he and the Prime Minister is speaking about now with other leaders of the Caribbean? Do you think thank you very much, Walking in Divine Purpose. Thank you. Do you think that the Secretary of State is speaking to other Caribbean leaders, of course? Good afternoon, welcome to our program, Your Life.
Good afternoon, Jeffrey.
Hey, my friend, how you doing?
Yeah, man, good. I think the Secretary of State should just take Andrew Holness with him.
But almighty God in heaven.
Because Jamaica would breed some level of relief. This guy is holding back our country and putting our people in extreme poverty, and I have no tolerance for him, Jeffrey. Just make sure that he is on the flight, leaving Jamaica. We don't want him. He has caused a lot of destruction on the people's lives, Jeffrey. I've seen it. So many talented and productive young people have to leave Jamaica because Andrew Holness wouldn't give them a chance to survive. The monies are gone. Our country has collapsed, you know.
Let me ask you a question, though, my friend. You said that you wouldn't mind if Mr. Rubio take the Prime Minister with him. So what you're saying, did you watch Mr. Ratigan last night and Mystic Sensation when Mr. Ratigan said that if Mr. Rubio said to the Prime Minister, accompany me down to Suriname, Mr. Ratigan told him not to go because if he goes, that's it for him. They're gone with him.
Well, we would be relieved, Jeffrey, because it's too much. I'm telling you, man, the country is at zero right now. And the guy is so selfish that he would rather sink the country and save himself. You know, it's terrible. I mean, it's hopeless. It's hopeless with Andrew Holness. And I've seen the amount of monies that gone missing. And it does contribute to the dilemma that we are in.
Yes.
You know, it can't be more serious. This guy must be taken away. All his assets should be confiscated. All his bank accounts, his wife. You have a man in Portland there who played an intricate role in SSL. That guy shouldn't even be on the ballot box. He's gone with Blue Lagoon. He took up his big friends up there from bank and hotel and give them property at Blue Lagoon. It's too much, Jeffrey. It's too much. I am hurting. The people are hurting. People are hungry. And nothing is working out. It's the worst I've ever seen things, my brother. Let me tell you something, man. Hospitals, look at KPH, Premier Health Institution. And right now, none of the operating theaters they are working. Not one. All they're doing now to people who are about to die are giving them painkillers. Can you imagine?
So
no.
Let me answer this question, and I have an next call coming, so I don't have any time to do much time. Let me answer this question. Do you think that the Prime Minister of Jamaica should say to Mr. Rubio, we will not send back the Cubans, or we will send back the Cubans?
The Cubans is a side issue, you know. I think that Chinese investments are real and overwhelming. And a matter of fact, I want to tell you something. The relationship between the Chinese and Andrew Holness have proven very successful for themselves, because hadn't it been for the Chinese, Andrew Holness wouldn't be so rich. He has been given a lot of leverage from the Chinese, there is no doubt. His wife ballooned into the construction industry, and that had to do with Chinese's influence and investment too. You know? So, because of the Chinese, the Prime Minister got very wealthy.
Yes.
It's not only SSL money the Prime Minister has. Prime Minister is getting money. Look here, man, check.
You know,
they are good friends with the Prime Minister. You know that when a Chinese national goes to FLA,
yes,
their gun permits are pre-approved.
I was told that there's some hanky panky going on at FLA where you put some money on
And
the table and whatever get happen. Anyway, Carl,
and
I gotta run
you
call.
no, in closing, Jeffrey, you as a Jamaican cannot receive a gun permit from FLA.
My God.
They're going to use a general clause to say the applicant does not establish the need to be armed.
Okay.
It's less than 90, look here, it's less than 5% of applicants are successful. And within that 5%, most of them are industrial, commercial companies, security companies. All right? So the average citizen cannot get a permit from FLA. And that guy, Shane Darling, he also should be extradited. Don't forget him, you know. Businessmen, young men who want to protect themselves and you're not getting a gun permit. Vote out Andrew Holness because he was the one who instructed Shane Darling not to give Jamaicans gun permits. And it's causing so much fear and anger, you know, in the families who need protection and can't get it from the state. I'm telling you, man,
All right,
that
my
should
friend.
be a real issue to vote out the government, not
Yes.
granting gun permits to their citizens.
I gotta run because I'm seeing a live feed coming up now where the Prime Minister and the Secretary are gonna come out. So thanks for calling.
Okay, all right, cool. Yes.
Thank you. We're standing by to join this live feed where the Prime Minister and the Secretary of State is gonna come out now. Oh Lord, what happened here? Yes, here it is. We're standing by now for this live coverage of the Prime Minister of Jamaica and the Secretary of State of the United States, Mr. Marco Rubio. You know, Jamaicans must watch the Prime Minister's body language today. Look at the Prime Minister's body language to see how he operates today. What did Mr. Rubio say to him? We don't know. We're just standing by to join this live press conference. Is it that he's telling the Prime Minister that the Cubans need to go? Is it that he's telling the Chinese that telling the Prime Minister he has so much Chinese investment into Jamaica? We don't know. But we're standing by right now to join the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the most honorable Dr. Michael Andrew Holness. We're standing by to see what is this press conference. We can see the Jamaica's Foreign Affairs Minister having a chit-chat with the Tourism Minister, Mr. Edmund Bartlett. We can see the Deputy Prime Minister. What? That's a surprise. The Deputy Prime Minister is in the room too, and he can't travel to the United States. Jeffrey shut him out and behave himself. Anyway, we're standing by to join the press conference. I can see a lot of members of the diplomatical corps is there. The Jamaican ambassador to the American ambassador to the Jamaica is there. And I think the Jamaican ambassador, the new Jamaican ambassador to the United States is there also. We can see a lot of security personnel there too. We're standing by to join the press conference live from Jamaica House. Live from Jamaica House. The press conference is going to happen anytime now. Oh Lord, sorry. Not Mark Golden visit. Thank you very much, Dr. Dunkley. Oh Lord. The visit of Marco Rubio. Why am I saying Mark Golden visit? The visit of Mr. Marco Rubio. We're standing by to join this live press conference. Jamaicans from all walks of life, share up this live feed. Share up this live feed, people. We need to know what is being said, what is going to be said, what is going to happen at this press conference. We're going to get some people to come on here. I think we're going to call Dr. Dunkley to ask her views after the press conference. We're also going to get the views of Mr. Wilfred Ratigan to see what he's going to say. We're going to see if we can get the views of one of Jamaica's former ambassador to the United States or to the United Kingdom or to the United Nation. We're going to see if we can get some of them to come on and to speak to us. Their views on the issues and their views on what is being said at this press conference. We're standing by. Don't go anywhere, people. We're standing by to have this live feed. This live feed of this press conference here. Standing by to get this live feed to hear what is going on. We can see Camilla Johnson Smith, Jamaica's Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister, is having a chit chat there with someone across from the Minister of Tourism, Mr. Edmund Bartlett. We can see in the midst there the Deputy Prime Minister of Jamaica, Minister of National Security, Dr. Harris Chang. Of course, Dr. Chang is also the Deputy Minister of Defense. The Prime Minister is the Minister of Defense. Okay, we can see someone go up there and put up the speech. I think, oh, there you go. There you go. The Prime Minister and the Secretary of State is being escorted to the podium for the press conference. The Prime Minister is grinning his teeth. He's laughing away. There goes the Secretary of State. Let's go live to Jamaica House.
Good afternoon. It is my great pleasure to welcome United States Secretary of State, the Honorable Marco Rubio, to Jamaica. Now, I have known Secretary of State Rubio for some time, and I've always been very impressed by his deep knowledge of the region. Jamaica is deeply honored that you have chosen to visit us first on your official visit to the English-speaking Caribbean. This visit so early in your term confirms the strength of historic friendship and strategic partnership between Jamaica and the United States, one built on shared values, democratic ideals, and people.
The volume is not because of me, the volume is because of the feed coming into us.
Have long been united by a common commitment to freedom, prosperity, and security. And your visit today reaffirms this bond. Today, we engaged in productive and constructive discussions focused on strengthening this partnership and expanding opportunities for collaboration. During our meeting, we addressed several critical areas of cooperation. Security, one major area. We reaffirmed our commitment to enhancing cooperation in combating transnational crime, ensuring the collective safety of our citizens, and mutually secured borders. We discussed a global war on gangs, and there is already significant policy alignment with both countries in this regard. The United States has been instrumental in supporting Jamaica's efforts to bolster its marine domain awareness and intelligence surveillance capabilities, which are crucial in our fight against organized criminal networks. We discussed expanded and repurposing development assistance towards our shared goals, including security. This will exponentially expand our cooperation in fighting lottery scammers, transnational organized crimes, trafficking in guns, and building safer communities. We are committed in ensuring our partnership delivers results in driving down criminality and trafficking in this hemisphere. On Haiti, we look forward to continued partnership with the United States as we seek to work with the Haitian leadership and stakeholders to address the ongoing crises in Haiti. The extraordinary humanitarian, civil, and national security challenges in Haiti pose an acute threat to Haitians, to regional stability, and indeed to its close neighbors, including Jamaica. We agreed that we must do everything we can to stabilize the security situation in Haiti so that they are better able to build capacity and address their political and humanitarian challenges. On trade, recognizing the United States as Jamaica's largest trading partner, with bilateral trade surpassing $3 billion in 2023, We explored avenues to further expand trade relations between our two countries. The renewal of the Caribbean Basin Economic Recovery Act was raised as a matter of critical importance to trade for ourselves and for all CARICOM member states. We also explored means to attract increased U.S. investment into Jamaica's emerging sectors. With our stable macroeconomic framework and positive growth trajectory, Jamaica is open for enhanced U.S. investment across multiple sectors, including energy and nearshoring. In terms of logistics, the discussion touched on working with U.S. companies to leverage Jamaica's location as a premier transshipment hub in the Americas, and this will further bolster Jamaica's work as a major logistics hub for global trade. On labor issues, the United States and Jamaica have enjoyed an 80-year-old history relationship in terms of bilateral labor agreements, where we provide short-term skilled and semi-skilled labor in sectors such as agriculture and hospitality. We discussed ways to expand and enhance these agreements, including skills development partnerships to upskill and reskill Jamaican workers. On our travel advisory, we discussed significant progress that we're making in bringing down all major crimes, and that Jamaica today is safer than at any time in the last 2 decades. In fact, crimes against visitors represent less than 0.01% of the more than 3 million visitors to Jamaica annually. We are committed to working collaboratively to ensure that travel advisories reflect the current realities and promote travel to Jamaica. I'm confident that the dialogue initiated today will lead to tangible outcomes, benefiting both our peoples and contributing to mutual stability and prosperity. Indeed, our concern for enhanced regional and hemispheric security and prosperity was recognized as a shared one. I wish my CARICOM colleagues who are now in Kingston productive meetings as well with the Secretary this afternoon. Jamaica remains committed to fostering a partnership with the United States, one grounded in mutual respect, shared values, and a collective ambition for stronger and a more resilient future. I extend my sincere gratitude to Secretary Rubio and his delegation for their visit and for the productive and forward-looking discussions we have had. We look forward to building upon this foundation, deepening our collaboration, and taking our partnership to new and greater heights for the lasting benefit of both our nations. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for joining us, and I now give the floor to Secretary Rubio for his press statement.
Well, Mr. Prime Minister, first of all, thank you for the very warm welcome. On Tuesday I completed my 9th week on the job, so I told you I'd be here early. I think that's pretty early, and I'm glad to be here so soon. Thank you to the Foreign Minister as well for welcoming me and all the work we do together, and to the people of Jamaica. The ties, I would say, between the United States and Jamaica don't need to be explained. They're incredibly strong. And in particular, my home state of Florida. We were commenting close, 800,000 to 1 million Jamaican expatriates who call the United States home. And I asked, was it just in Florida? Because it's a very vibrant community that's contributed so much to the place that I've called home for so long. And so we have a shared history that's tied together by people. I also would say that some substantial percentage of Americans have traveled here at some point in their lives. And that also binds countries together. Nothing binds countries and cultures more closely together than people. And we certainly have that in common. And we want to continue to make sure that we build on that. We did touch on a couple of topics. The first is trade. The world has been closely followed. The President is in the midst of realigning American global trade policy, primarily to reset global trade in a way that's fair to the U.S. after 20 or 30 years of what we believe is unfairness, not when it comes to Jamaica, but broader. And from that will come real opportunities to create new alignments and new trade arrangements and new trade opportunities. And I believe Jamaica is one of those places that together we both stand to benefit. In particular, we discussed supply chains. And we ask ourselves, why, if so many of these products are destined for the North American market, why are so many of the productive capacities located halfway around the world? And there's a lot of different reasons why that's happened. But it makes all the sense in the world to see more productive capacity, more manufacturing, more industry relocated into our hemisphere. We certainly have the labor and the population and the in our hemisphere. It's closer to the end markets. And so we want to pursue opportunities to make that possible. And clearly, I think Jamaica is one of those places that could benefit. And the Prime Minister has that vision for the country and the creation of not just jobs, but jobs that pay even better than the jobs that maybe some could find now. So it's an opportunity I think would be mutually beneficial, and we're going to actively seek and look for ways to make that possible. I also think there's extraordinary opportunities for investment, and we talked about it, whether it's particularly in energy. The United States is going to be producing a lot of liquefied natural gas, which is a very clean fuel that we have in abundance and that we seek to export. And it's also critical, by the way. You cannot have manufacturing without reliable and affordable energy. And so it's one of those things that I think potentially we could continue to partner along with other things, whether it's mining opportunities off the seabed. In essence, to utilize all of the resources of the country in a responsible way that protects your environment, that protects your natural beauty, but at the same time is generating income and opportunity of employment for the people. Ultimately, governments have two prime responsibilities: the safety and the prosperity of their people. And your Prime Minister and his government is very focused on those two priorities. We did talk about tourism because obviously it's a significant part of your economy, and we pledged we were going to go back and reevaluate the travel advisories as they currently stand to ensure that they do reflect the reality of the new numbers and what the numbers show, because you've made very impressive progress in your general numbers overall when it comes to the murder rate and so forth. But in particular, those travel advisories are designed to American travelers. And I think we need to analyze that and just ensure that the status we're currently in accurately reflects the status quo and takes into account the progress you've already made this year and made last year, year over year, which I think is one of the highest numbers in terms of reductions that we've seen of any country in the region. We have to talk about security, and I think that the Prime Minister has phrased it in a way that I think is very beneficial, and that is, he used the term global war on gangs. Maybe we'll find some other phraseology in the United States to describe it, but we're talking about the same problem. It's amazing if you look across the region and really many parts of the world, how many of the threats we face in the world now that once came from an ideological terrorist organization or from a nation state are now coming from non-governmental criminal organizations who in some cases are more powerful than the governments in some of these countries. And we've confronted this issue. It's a challenge in Mexico. It's a challenge on the border between Venezuela and Colombia. It is the challenge in Haiti. And it's been a challenge here. And it's a multifaceted challenge. They are transnational for a number of reasons. One, as an example, is, and we've acknowledged this in our conversations that lead back to my time in the United States Senate, how many of the guns and the weapons that are being used by gangs to commit acts of violence here in Jamaica are purchased in the United States and then shipped here. And we want to commit to doing more to stopping that flow at the same time as we do more to commit to increasing your capacity. That's the other thing I underline. What we're talking about here when we talk about American assistance is America helping Jamaica build its own capacity, its own ability to confront these challenges and solve these problems. Because security is a baseline for everything. And to that end, we have some good things to announce today here. We've the Jolt Fusion Center that is starting up again, and that's been even further strengthened. That's going to help address lottery scamming. We can announce this synthetics detection equipment for Jamaica's forensic labs. Another counter-gang recruitment program that we seek to launch as a result of our visit here today. And announce something that I think is really important, and that is software, intelligence software for the law enforcement here in Jamaica to combat gangs, things like night vision goggles as well, technology, and we look to do more. And on that end, let me touch on a topic that we talked about just a little bit. Well, I'll touch on one other topic, then I'll get to this final one. On you mentioned upskilling and helping. How can we? It's a topic we hadn't touched on directly, extensively before. We talked about it today. We seek to go back and find ways that we can partner to create opportunities for skills training, so that if those companies, and we can attract those companies, if we can attract, whether it's a logistics center or manufacturing, to come to Jamaica, there's a workforce that's been equipped with the skills needed. Now, we face this challenge domestically as well. We need to do that ourselves, but there may be things that we can do in collaboration with one another. And this touches on the issue of aid, very controversial in the United States, but it's one of the reasons why I wanted to come here today, because it in many ways highlights exactly what our vision for aid moving forward is. The United States is not getting out of the aid business. We are going to be providing foreign aid. The difference is we want to provide foreign aid in a way that is strategically aligned with our foreign policy priorities and the priorities of our host countries and our nation states that we're partners with. In essence, how that would work, how it has worked in the past, is USAID or some other entity would come into a country and say, this is what we think you need. And then they go out and hire an NGO that maybe are the ones that convinced them that that's what you need, and they give them a bunch of money and they come into the country and they do things. Some of these programs are fine, they're nice things. Other times, not so much. Nonetheless, that's how it used to be. How we want it to be in the future is that our embassies are involved with the host government, our hosts, our partners, and we ask them, what are your needs? And we provide assistance geared towards the needs of the nation states that are hosting us and that we're partnering with. At the end, our partner in Jamaica, our partner all over the world, is the government. It's the host governments who have a clear vision for the future. And to the extent that our foreign aid can be helpful, it is in furtherance of what the people of your country have elected you to carry out. Here, there are a lot of things. We've just described some of them. What should our foreign aid be geared towards? It should be geared towards looking for opportunities to increase skills training, looking for opportunities to attract investment and business and trade, and looking obviously for opportunities to expand on your own domestic intelligence capabilities. We are going to have foreign aid that is aligned to our foreign policy, and our foreign policy is going to be aligned to our mutual shared interests with the partners that we have all over the world. And I can tell you, Jamaica is an incredible partner to the United States. It's very cooperative on a number of fronts, and we will continue to work together, and we're going to work closer than we've ever worked before, because we are now going to have U.S. programs for foreign aid that are going to be aligned with the vision that you've elected your leaders to carry out for your country, and that benefits us both. And so I thank you for the opportunity to visit with you here today and talk about these things. I'm excited that we're going to be able to follow up on a lot of them and show real progress. The message that I've wanted to send in my travels, I've had to travel a couple of other places, but I've been to the hemisphere now twice, is very simple, and that is that the United States wants to ensure that when countries are cooperative and work with us and partner with us and constantly seek ways to engage us, that leads to positive results and outcomes. It's not, you can call it rewarding, but what it really means is it has to be a mutually beneficial relationship. And we want countries in the world, and we want countries in the region to identify being close to the United States as something that is beneficial and helpful to develop, helpful to grow, and frankly helpful so that one day many countries can serve, and I think in Jamaica is already doing this, as a model of what other countries would seek to emulate, whether it's on security, on trade, on investment, on skills acquisition and improvement. These are the things that we want America's relationship with our partners to look like. And I can think of no better friend in the Caribbean and frankly in the Western Hemisphere than Jamaica and your government, Mr. Prime Minister. And so we thank you for this chance to visit with you so early. And as I joked a couple times, so I'll say it again, I think I told it to the cameras already, I wanted to come here early so when I come for the second and third time, they don't accuse me of only wanting to go to Jamaica. And it in many ways, it really truly feels like home and where I am in South Florida. And I thank you for your hospitality and this opportunity.
Good afternoon, Prime Minister Holness and Secretary Rubio. Thank you both for your remarks just now. We have several members of the media from Jamaica and the United States in the room with us this afternoon, but we will only be taking 4 questions. And I ask that those who have been selected, that you please stand as you ask your question. And our first question is going to be from John Hudson of the Washington Post.
Thank you very much. Mr. Secretary, Republican Congressman Don.
He came with me. Don't say I don't take you to nice places.
Thank you for the hospitality. Beautiful weather, beautiful country. Much appreciated.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Mr. Secretary, Republican Congressman Don Bacon weighed in on the signal chat breach, saying the White House is, quote, in denial that this was not classified or sensitive data. They should just own up to it and preserve credibility. Do you think that's true? Also, here in Jamaica, there are USAID employees at our embassy, like so many others around the world, on administrative leave, not carrying out the work of the American people. Do you worry that the DOGE effort won't ultimately end up benefiting U.S. taxpayers? And Prime Minister, violence and instability remains in Haiti. What would you like to see from the United States in terms of being a productive force? And a State Department envoy yesterday called the presence of Cuban doctors in Jamaica and elsewhere human trafficking. Do you agree with that? Thank you.
Let me take the first. I've already addressed the aid one, but let me address it again. This is not about getting rid of aid. This is about restructuring how we're going to do aid. And when you restructure, there's some disruption, but it has to happen. By the way, this is not an idea. This is an idea Condoleezza Rice wanted. This is an idea multiple secretaries of state throughout time have tried to achieve. And we intend to achieve it because we think it makes all the sense in the world. So I recognize that there's disruption involved when you make reform and you make change. But it's necessary because our foreign policy and our foreign aid have to be aligned. Foreign aid is an instrument of foreign policy, okay? It is not a global charity. Jamaica's not asking for charity. They're asking for development assistance so they can become stronger at their security needs and other things of this nature. That's what they're asking for. They're not asking for a handout. They're asking for a hand up, help to build their capabilities so that they become a self-reliant partner and, frankly, could end up and already are helping other countries. Jamaica now is contributing to the effort in Haiti, as an example. So these are the kinds of things we want to see in our foreign aid. So, look, our goal was not to disrupt anyone's life. Our goal was to restructure the way we deliver foreign aid so that it is aligned with our foreign policy and with what we're trying to carry out at our respective missions around the world. On the first question, let me just say on the signal thing. This thing was set up for purposes of coordinating how everyone was going to call. You know, when these things happen, I need to call foreign ministers, especially of our close allies. We need to notify members of Congress. Other members of the team have different people they need to notify as well. And that was the purpose of why it was set up. Obviously, someone made a mistake. Someone made a big mistake and added a journalist. Nothing against journalists, but you ain't supposed to be on that thing. So they got on there and this happened. I've been, you know, so I can speak to myself or my presence on it. I think my role on it was just speaking for my role. I contributed to it twice. I identified my point of contact, which is my chief of staff. And then later on, I think 3 hours after the White House's official announcements had been made, I congratulated the members of the team. I've been assured by the Pentagon and everyone involved that none of the information that was on there, though not intended to be divulged, obviously that was a mistake and that shouldn't have happened and the White House is looking at it, but that none of the information on there at any point threaten the operation or the lives of our servicemen. And in fact, it was a very successful operation, and it's an ongoing operation. But that was the intent behind it. And again, I think the Pentagon's made clear that nothing on there would have endangered the lives or the mission. And the mission's been very successful.
Is it classified, the information?
Well, the Pentagon says it was not. And not only did it say it was not, they make very clear that it didn't put in danger anyone's life or the mission. There was no intelligence information. And understand, when this story first broke, they were sort of alluding to were there war maps, or there was no war plans on there. This was a sort of description of what we could inform our counterparts around the world when the time came to do so. Again, look, I think the White House is looking at this entire thing. How did that journalist get on there? Why was this the appropriate? And I think there'll be reforms and changes made, so this was not going to happen again. It can't. But I wanted everybody to understand why this thing was even set up in the first place, and also understand very clearly the mission was successful, and at no point was it endangered. And that's coming from the highest-ranking officials at the agency that was in charge of the actual operation, which is the Pentagon.
In terms of Haiti, the United States has been an incredible partner, in fact, the lead partner, in ensuring that resources and organization is brought to the crisis in Haiti. In terms of what more could be done, I think we're at a phase in Haiti where there has to be a rapid expansion of the Haitian National Police, the HNP, in terms of the manpower and resources, because ultimately the HNP has to take on the gangs. The present holding situation that we have is not necessarily moving the situation forward as we would all like. So there would have to be a significant expansion in resources in support of the HNP to enable them to take on the gangs. In terms of Cuban doctors in Jamaica, let us be clear. The Cuban doctors in Jamaica have been incredibly helpful to us. Jamaica has a deficit in health personnel, primarily because many of our health personnel have migrated to other countries. We are, however, very careful not to exploit the Cuban doctors who are here. We ensure that they are treated within our labor laws and benefit like any other worker. So any characterization of the program by others certainly would not be applicable to Jamaica. We are ensuring that our program complies with all the international laws and standards to which we are a party to.
All right, our next question will come from Tana Thomas from Nationwide News Network. Please stand.
Thank you. Secretary Rubio, my question is, or questions, in relation to the matter of the Cuba Medical Corporation program as well. So the medical mission has been a cornerstone of healthcare in Jamaica and the Caribbean for over 50 years, according to our foreign minister. How does the U.S. reconcile its stance on this program with the region's reliance on Cuban medical professionals, and what alternatives does it propose to ensure healthcare stability?
Well, yeah, I think the first thing is to separate the medical from the labor issues that we are pointing to. Okay, this is not about doctors. Okay, this is not about the provision of medical assistance. We have no problem with medical assistance. We have no problem with doctors. We have a problem, and I'm not speaking about Jamaica. We've discussed this today about, following international labor standards and the like, but I'm just talking about this program in general, how it's operated around the world. And how it's operated around the world is that basically the doctors are not paid. In many other parts of the world, the doctors are not paid. You pay the Cuban government. The Cuban government decides how much of anything to give them. They take away their passports. They basically operate as forced labor in many places. Now, there are places that have better labor standards. Perhaps Jamaica is one of those, and that's fine. But I'm describing generally what the program has been. It has operated in that way in many parts of the world and placed these people in tremendous danger. And so I think we can all agree that the trafficking in labor, be they doctors or farm workers, is not something that we would want to be supportive of, and we find that to be an egregious practice on the part of the Cuban regime. Now, every country operates the program differently. And obviously, because of our relationship with Jamaica, we're going to engage with them on that and talk about it further and have a better understanding. Perhaps none of this applies in the way it's handled here. But generally, that's the problem with the program. It's not that they're Cuban doctors. It's that the regime does not pay these doctors, takes away their passports, and basically it is, in many ways, forced labor. And that we cannot be in support of. Again, not speaking about here in particular, but in general about the program.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Will Lowry from the National News.
Thank you so much for taking my question, Mr. Secretary. I just want to circle back to John's question, the signal chat.
The signal chat, yes.
But of course, are you planning on making the Europeans pay for U.S. operations against the Houthis, given that their businesses seem to benefit more from opening up these shipping lanes, as discussed in that chat? And then moving to Russia, Ukraine, I was wondering if you could elaborate on the Black Sea ceasefire deal and how it's progressing. President Zelensky has already questioned Russia's seriousness, saying, quote, they are trying to distort agreements and in fact deceive both our intermediaries and the entire world.
So on the first question about, look, here's the problem, okay? These guys, these Houthis, these are pirates, okay? This is a band of, it's a gang, in essence. That's gotten control of a certain part, but these are a religious fanatic gang. And these guys have missiles, and they've launched 174 attacks against U.S. Navy ships, 150-something attacks on commercial vessels. They are literally saying they've set up a toll system at the Red Sea. These ships can go, these ships cannot. They don't blow up the Chinese ships, they don't blow up somebody, but they blow up all the other ships. This is not sustainable. And so I think the point that I've made publicly is we are doing a great favor to the world. The United States is doing a great favor to the world, going after these guys' capability of doing this. How can we live in a world where a group like this has advanced weapons, okay, and can shut down a shipping lane and increase the cost of shipping that we're all paying for. Everything we buy, all the stuff is embedded in the cost and in the price of these things is how much it costs to ship it. And so that's just not a sustainable thing. We can't allow it. So I think the point I would make is not, we're going to make anybody pay. It's everybody should recognize we are doing the world a great favor going after these guys because this can't continue. This is unsustainable. What's next? Some gang's going to show up somewhere else and shut off another shipping lane. That's not practical. It cannot happen. So what was your first question? I was so fired up about that one that I forgot the other one. Oh, yes, that one. Easy ones. Well, look, I think yesterday our negotiators are en route, or perhaps they've already arrived after spending, I think they met with the Ukrainians twice, the Russians once. What we have here is an agreement in principle on a Black Sea ceasefire. We got two things from that. The first is we have more detailed definition of what the energy ceasefire entails. And the second is the principle, concept of a Black Sea ceasefire. Obviously, after our meeting, as part of their release, the Russians detailed a number of conditions that they want to see met in order to do that. So we're going to evaluate that. Some of those conditions include sanctions that are not ours. They belong to the European Union. So we're going to be gathering and sort of, when our folks get back, sitting down, going through the proposals, getting their impressions of the conversations so we can more fully understand what the Russian position is or what their ask is in exchange. And then we'll present that to the president, who will ultimately make a decision about what the next step here. I think it's a good thing that we have both the Ukrainians and the Russians talking about ceasefires, be they energy or be they potentially in the Black Sea. But obviously, this is hard and difficult work. This is a protracted almost 3.5-year war now, or 3-year war. It has a lot of framework of sanctions that have been built globally now that have to be looked at as part of an ultimate end to a conflict. There's a lot of things that have to be worked through. And I certainly think the only way you're going to make progress on these things is by engaging with both sides, understanding their asks, their demands, and seeing what's possible. So we're going to have a chance now to sort of sit down as a team and evaluate when they arrive in detail how the meetings went with the Ukrainians, how the meetings went with Russia, what are the Russians asking for, what are the Ukrainians asked for, compare all that, and then make a decision on that basis about what comes next in this process. In the end, the goal here is peace. The goal is to end a war where people are dying. And I think everyone should be happy that the United States is engaged in a process of ending a war and bringing about peace. It's not going to be easy. It won't be simple. It'll take some time. But at least we're on that road and we're talking about these things. And we're going to test it and see what's possible. We think we owe that to the world. And the president, I continue to say, is the only leader in the world right now, President Trump, who's in a position to even get these two nations to a city to talk about these things, albeit in rooms far apart from one another when these talks are going on. But nonetheless, they're talking. It's the first time in a while that we've seen any conversation about this. But we have a lot of work yet to be done, and we'll know more after we get the readout from our teams.
Okay, our last question will come from Andrea Chisholm from Television Jamaica.
Thank you. Secretary Rubio, given changes to U.S. immigration policies, there are some Jamaicans who are afraid to travel back to Jamaica, even though they are legitimate green card holders. What assurances can you give to those individuals that they will have no difficulty returning to the United States?
Well, yeah, well, green card or residency? I mean, permanent residence you're asking me about? Yes, okay, yes. Okay.
And secondly, what problems, if any, does America have with China's investment in Jamaica?
Well, look, I mean, China's a rich and powerful country. Our problem with is not investment. Okay. Our problem is predatory practices. That's what we're concerned about. What we have seen all over the world is that China comes in and says, here's a bunch of money for a project they never build. They bring their own workers to do the work. They don't hire the locals. They bring their own workers. And oftentimes it comes attached with a huge loan that can never be repaid, and now they hold it over your head forever. That's our concern. Our concern is unfair practices, too, where they come in, they're government-subsidized companies, underbid everybody because they're subsidized, but then they come back and charge you whatever they want because now they've got the contract. So these are the things that we remain very concerned about. Again, not specifically about Jamaica, but in general. And so that's what we'll continue to highlight. On the first point, I would say, let me talk about that. If you're a green card holder, you're not illegally in the United States. You're a green card holder, you are legally in the United States. What the president has said, and I don't know how anybody can disagree with this, every country in the world has immigration laws. And immigration laws, if you don't enforce them, you don't have immigration laws. Over the last few years, we've had, what, 13, 14, 15 million people enter the United States unlawfully and irregularly. No country in the world can assume that. By the way, that's not unique to us, right? Even here in Jamaica, you've faced challenges of migration. And it's not that we don't sympathize with people that are leaving difficult circumstances, it's that no society can absorb mass migration from anywhere in the world. You just can't do it. And we're facing that challenge. That's not specific to Jamaica, I'm just speaking in general. And so the president is doing something that frankly hasn't been done in a long time. He's enforcing our immigration laws. And that's what we're doing. So if you're a green card holder, you're not illegally in the United States. I think the challenge is for those who are illegally in the United States, we have to have immigration laws. They have to be followed. I mean, I don't know why that's an unreasonable demand. And frankly, I mean, Jamaica is not a major source of illegal migration, to be frank. It's not even in the top 10 or top 20, for that matter, I don't think. But that said, we are enforcing our immigration laws, because here's what happens if you don't. You'll get another 12 million people. And if tomorrow Jamaica announced anybody who wants to come can come in, you're going to get a lot of people too, and you know it's going to be very disruptive. So we need to have immigration laws, and we need to enforce them, and that's what we are. That's what the president is doing. That's what he promised voters he would do, and that's what we're going to continue to do. But if you're a green card holder, you're legally in the United States, unless, and I say this because a lot of these people come, unless you're some student visa holder who's a sympathizer of some terrorist organization and is running around in our streets like a lunatic, burning down buildings and attacking students at universities. If you're one of these lunatics that's going to put on a mask over your face and break into a student union center and harass students, and we wouldn't have let you in the first place. If you had told us that, if you told us, I'm going to America not just to study at your university, but to tear up your campus, we would have never let you in. And if you do that, once you come into the United States, we're going to kick you out. We're going to do that. And I don't care what terrorist organization they're supporting, we're going to kick you out. If you're a gang member, we're going to kick you out. Okay? If you're one of these violent gang members that's coming to the United States, then we're going to kick you out. That we're going to do. There's no doubt about it. But the president's very committed to that. And but if you're a green card holder and you're not any of these things, you're going to be fine.
Prime Minister Holness and Secretary Rubio, as we close today's press conference, we want to thank you for your engagement here today. We thank all of the members of the media and all of the other guests. We wish you safe travels and a happy rest of the day. Thank you.
Wow. There you have it, Prime Minister Holness and Marco Rubio shaking hands together. The Prime Minister is all smiling. Is there a hot mic on that we can hear? Well, there you have it, the Prime Minister of Jamaica and the Secretary of State. Mr. Rubio said that let me turn on this camera here. Secretary Rubio said that if you're a green card holder, you're okay. But I hear the VP of the United States saying something totally different. So I don't know. I mean, there's something that is going on that we don't understand. You know, a press conference just held. I want to say thanks to everyone. Press conference was held by the Prime Minister of Jamaica and the Secretary of State. I thought the journalists were going to ask the Prime Minister about his 28 bank account in front of the Secretary. That's what I thought. They were going to ask some tough questions in front of the Secretary about his 28 bank accounts. But of course, that did not happen. So there you have it. A press conference just happened. The Prime Minister of Jamaica, along with the Secretary of State, we were supposed to have Headboy on, but I don't know. I think he's having some issues, some internet issues. So we couldn't get Headboy to come on. But I think Headboy will be on. Hopefully, he will be on Ratigan's program tonight. He'll be on Mr. Ratigan's program tonight. There's so many things to take away from this press conference. So many things to take away from this press conference tonight. Let me get my good friend, so let me send you the link for you to come on. Can you come on the link? Okay, hold on. Yes.
Understood from this press conference.
Go ahead. Hold on for me. Hold on.
In this press conference, that the Prime Minister spoke from a place of weakness. And
hello?
Yeah, Jeffrey, taking
Yeah, hold on for me. Can you call back in 2 minutes? What happened to Pastor Richie? Pastor Richie, what happened to your phone? Sorry, repeat again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead now, please. Something went on with the phone a while ago. I didn't hear you. Go ahead.
All right, let me start over. The Prime Minister, in my assessment, spoke from a place of weakness, and he did not, even though they limit the questions to 4 questions from the reporters, it is clear that he did not say he's going to keep the Cuban medical personnel or send them home. What he said that suggests that he bow and cave in. He said that Jamaica will abide by international labor laws. And so he did not say we were going to abide by Jamaica labor laws. And we know currently the Trump administration, international labor law as it relates to Cuba, is that they should send the Cuban medical personnel home. So that's a clear indication that he gave in to Trump, and he gave in because when Secretary of State Rubio, his visit to Jamaica was not to ask Jamaica what to do. He's hawkish. If you listen to how he communicates, he's very forceful in his deliverable, while the Prime Minister is very more calmer and subdued. So that tells me that he caved in to the opportunity to send the medical doctors home. And then the second thing, I got.
Hold on for me, Pastor. You said the Prime Minister was a bit subdued and Secretary of State was a bit upset in a sense.
No, I didn't say Secretary was upset. I said he was more hawkish.
Yes, okay, no, I understand what you say. Yes, he's more hawkish.
Right.
Couldn't it be the other way around, where the Prime Minister said to him, "No, I will not send him back home," and that got him upset?
No, I don't think so, because the truth of the matter is that Trump administration is forceful about holding Cuba accountable in terms of sanctions and embargo. And the American policy towards Cuba is very harsh. And this has been going on for over 50 years. This is nothing new under the sun. So he caved in and gave in to, when he said, I will abide by international labor laws, we know that America right now is setting the agenda as it relates to Cuba and the labor laws for the medical personnel. The second thing is about China. That the question was asked again. I strongly believe, based upon that question and Rubio's response, is that they are in trouble with America as it relates. Remember, Rubio said it's not about the Chinese investments, but it's about the other things that the Chinese are doing that is very displeasing and upsetting to America. And what the things that he highlighted is exactly what Jamaica is doing with the Chinese in Jamaica. So, and he mentioned about the ports. It's very interesting to know, because they didn't, if the reporter didn't ask questions, we wouldn't have known this thing. So it's going to be very interesting to know in a couple of days from now what deal was made as it relates to the seaport, the Kingston Harbor, because I strongly believe that Trump wants them to tear that deal up like he did for Panama. So let's see in a couple of days what other developments is exposed. And then the last point, number three, when America makes a deal with a country, they announce packages and aids and grants and the things that they're going to do as a result. And so he did not say specifically that we're going to invest $300 million US for this and that. What he said is that we're going to help you to enhance your security in terms of ensuring that guns are not coming in from the United States to America. And there's no aid packages for the people of Jamaica. And so it shows you that the Prime Minister caved in and that he did not really stood at a position of strength, and he had to just give in to the demand of what the Trump administration want him to give into. That's my assessments, and I strongly believe I'm correct. But in the coming days, we will see what press release comes out from the State Department, because they always follow a press conference. They always put the transcripts and then a press release out. So let's wait a couple more days and we will see what new developments is associated with today's meeting. So God bless you and your listeners. I got to run because I got like another hour to get on my live.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
All right, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. The number to call is 954-529-8030. What do you think about the press conference? Do you think the Jamaican Prime Minister bowed to the pressure of the American government? Good afternoon. Welcome to Mek Wi Talk program. You're live.
Good afternoon, Jeffrey and to your viewers. Jeffrey, what a day when the rice can't swell. Stop laughing, Jeffrey. I'm serious. We are clean, mad people. No one is serious, no, Jeffrey. Jamaica didn't get anything from this meeting with Rubio. Jamaica was schooled on what they should do.
Yes.
And it's evident. And another thing that's evident, why is it every time we have a press release, right? Notice a press conference, you notice the set of people who get to ask a question. Nationwide always ask a question. TVJ. But look at the type of question they ask. One question was asked twice. And if you really look at what Senator Rubio is saying, the aid to Jamaica, that they're going to aid Jamaica, is to help them with security. But as we know, that's not something that Jamaican government want help with, because we were offered security help by one of the biggest firms in the world, and up to now, Dr. Chang hasn't responded.
True.
And then when you look at it, Andrew Holness never at no point in time tell Jamaica that they're not sending the Cuban workers back. He's saying we gonna comply to international policy. The other countries who spoke out were complying with international policy. And some of the things that Marco Rubio is talking about, listen, Jamaica participate in that. You have a lot of people going on farm work where part of their salaries given back to the Jamaican government. So if the Cubans government want to take part of their Cuban residents or citizens' salary, that shouldn't be no problem with Jamaica or America, because we participate in that also. And then when you look now, when they talk about the shipping places, Jeffrey, those places have been given to the Chinese. They have been given to the Chinese, and it's in document. But what has happened is that a lot of our ports that has been given away have been given away under the disguise that we need to make improvement or expansion. So every asset that Jamaica owns, from Air Jamaica to all the airports, that's making millions and millions of dollars. The people who are running these ports are telling us that we haven't made any money, that we could do any expansion for ourselves. So they left us out in the cold. And when Marco Rubio are talking about the Chinese, and he's not concerned about the investment, they are concerned about the investment. But what should be more troubling to Jamaica is that we are borrowing money, and not only are we borrowing money, we are giving our resources, we are giving land, but we are also providing jobs for over 200,000 Chinese in our country to work on the same project. But you know what's the catch to it, Jeffrey? The catch to it is that the Prime Minister can shuffle money when he tells the Chinese, listen, you have to employ local contractors. Then why are we saying they have to employ local contractors? If the local contractors was good enough, why did we import the Chinese?
That's a very good question, caller, because I keep on saying to people, and they can go and look it up. The American Army Corps of Engineers rate the Jamaica Defense Corps, the Jamaica Defense Force rather, Army Corps of Engineers, the best in the Caribbean and I think in the Western Hemisphere. Don't quote me on that part, Western Hemisphere. But I know that the Americans have rated the Jamaica Defense Force Army Corps of Engineers as one of the best. Jamaican Defense Force, if they had the equipment, they could build some nice roads. But because politicians in our country, both sides of the fence, want to dig in the kitty, they don't have the equipment. That is why they get rid of the Public Works Department.
But Jeffrey, even if they don't have the equipment, look at the easy solution. When the Chinese employ Jamaican local contractors, the local contractors use the equipment that they have. So that could have been an easy fix. But just like you said, Jeffrey, a lot of things in Jamaica are organized because the politicians want money.
Yes.
Why we have National Work Agency? We should have National Work Agency in all 14 parishes, where people are employed permanently. Where if there's something wrong with our roads, the National Work Agency take it on. The National Work Agency should also be able to,
yes, but let me ask you your views. Let me ask you something though. Based on what Mr. Rubio said, and I have another call coming. I have to take this call. Right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ratigan. Welcome to the program. You're live. Your views on Mr. Ratigan?
Yeah.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. You're live.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Yes, your views on Mr. Rubio visit to Jamaica and what he said.
No, I have to go back and review because I was actually out and about when he was speaking.
Yes.
So I have to go back and review what he said before I can render an opinion on it. Because also I don't the Prime Minister, as I said, I was out on the street, didn't catch everything he said. So it's all kind of mushy. It's all kind of confusing right now. People, I think, are still trying to pick out, sense out of nonsense, what actually happened.
Yeah, because Mr. Rubio, the Secretary of State, said that there's nothing wrong with green card holders in America traveling to Jamaica and coming back in. But on the other hand, you hear the VP of the United States is saying that green card holders are not, they can't, in a sense, what he's saying, that green card holders are not citizens. So they don't have the right of what a citizen have.
Yeah, that's true. Green card holders are not citizens.
So,
so they're residents.
Yeah,
I think I heard that part when he made a mistake because he was saying, are they residents or are they green card holders? And it's the same.
Right.
If you're a green card holder, you're a permanent resident. So I think the Secretary of State, I think he explained that clearly, but I think at the very end, I think he mentioned that the only time you should worry is if you are a member of a terrorist group, because they have no problem. Well, and that's not, and he said that's the only time you should worry. That's not true, because if you have a green card and you're out of the country for more than a certain period of time, then essentially you've abandoned your green card. So when you come back, they can take away your green card. But
right now, Mr. Ratigan, the way how ICE is operating and an immigration person is operating, I saw something on a news where I think it was a Filipino national, well, an American in a sense, had a green card, went out and come back, and they detained the person to deport the person.
Well, we don't know what the facts are. We don't know what CBP had on that person. And like I keep telling people, just because you see certain things happening, it doesn't mean that what you're seeing is actually the full story, because they get information from a variety of sources, which we are not privy to. And so we don't know. Somebody could have easily written a letter and saying, this guy's a member of a terrorist group. They're going to stop you and they're going to secondary you and they're going to go through go through your life with a fine tooth comb to make sure. So, most of these things we don't know. Well, all we know is that, this guy came in with a green card and they stopped him, they detained him, and then he was there for a while and they sent him home. But we don't know. So that's why it's difficult to make comments on these things unless you have the facts. But I do know that if you stay out of the country for a certain period of time and you try to come in, then yeah, you're gonna have a problem. I do know that if people write a poison pen letter to CBP, then they could stop you and they could prevent you from coming in. So the secretary only gave one example, but there are numerous examples under which you could be refused entry with a green card. So I don't think he allayed any fears. I don't think. I don't. First of all, I don't think the question was clear, but I don't think he answered it. He answered it in the way it was asked. I don't think he answered it clearly. So
And won't you be surprised? I know you have been through the entire press conference, but it's surprising me that no one's asked the Prime Minister about the current death in America, the current death in Jamaica, the current situation in Jamaica. Yet people can ask, other journalists ask the Secretary of State about the issue with the group that they had where they're planning some strike on Yemen. Are you aware of that?
they ask him about what? They ask the secretary about the strike on Yemen.
Yeah. There's a WhatsApp group. There's a WhatsApp group. What's the name of the group again? Oh Lord.
Oh, you mean the signal group?
Right. He asked me about
Yeah.
the signal group, and he answered that. But what I'm saying, aren't you surprised that no one asked the Prime Minister of Jamaica about his 28 bank account, about SSL? Like none of the Jamaican journalists asked about that.
No, because what happened, that would be embarrassing in the moment. So what they do is they vet the questions, and if you notice, they handpick. They didn't have people raise their hands and say, "Okay, I'm going to call on you" or whatever. They already knew who they were going to call on to ask questions, and they figured that there are Americans in the room asking questions. They're probably going to ask questions about what happened in Washington yesterday or the day before, and touch on some other things, but they wouldn't be. They wouldn't drill down on the Prime Minister and say, hey, this man have 28 bank accounts and he can't explain some of them. How can you, Mr. Secretary of State, trust this man if his own people in his own country don't trust him? How can you trust him? Questions like that, they're not gonna make it. They're not gonna let you ask those questions. So they know who at events like this one, they know who they want to ask the questions, and in some instances, you have to give them the question that you're going to ask before.
Wouldn't you like to be the fly on the wall in that conference room where the Secretary of State was there, and along with the Deputy Prime Minister, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and other cabinet ministers? Wouldn't you like to be a fly in that room, Mr. Ratigan, to hear what they were saying?
No, I don't have to be a fly in the room because I know exactly what was said. I don't have to be a fly in the room. The Prime Minister was scolded for a bunch of things. It's clear, and so I have to take him licks and him come out and try and make the best of it. And they have to be cordial. That's how diplomacy works. You don't come out and scold the person in front of his people, in front of an audience. You don't do that. All of that is done behind closed doors, and then you come out and pretend as if you're friends and that everything is hunky dory, and then you're good. For the few minutes that I heard the Secretary of State speak, he kept saying, he kept like when issues came up, he kept saying, oh, and I'm not saying it's Jamaica, I'm just saying in general, and he kept saying it, and of course it's Jamaica. Because he kept trying to distance Jamaica from the issues. As somebody asked him about the Cuban doctors, and he kind of strayed from that and said, well, it's we're not talking about Jamaica here. And there was a couple other questions where he tried to make a distinction between Jamaica and the rest of the world. Oh, China, having to do with China, and so he tried to distance himself. He tried to distance his answer from implicating Jamaica in the issue. So he would say, yeah, it's an issue, but I'm not saying it's here in Jamaica, but in a general sense, yeah, it's an issue and blah 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 blah. Of course, it's Jamaica.
So do you think, Mr. Ratigan, that the Prime Minister sent him back home to Cubans? Or did he stand his ground?
If the Prime Minister wanted to send home the Cubans, he would have made the announcement. Mia Motley made an announcement. The gentleman from Gonzales from Grenadines and yes, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, he made an announcement. The gentleman from Trinidad and Tobago, he made an announcement. So if he wanted to send them home, he would have come out and said, "I'm sending them home."
So in other words, they're gonna.
And it would have been the perfect. This would have been the perfect time and the perfect venue to say, "I talked to the Secretary of State, and we are in agreement, or even though we disagree, I'm sending them home."
But isn't the Jamaican citizens are still in limbo up to that, pertaining to that answer from the Prime Minister, sir?
Of course, it's the first time he's spoken out about it, and the answer I heard from him was that they were not in violation of any international laws. There was no they weren't treating them, they weren't exploiting them. But that's foolishness, because I think the Secretary of State, the little I heard, I think he said that we heard about the international labor laws, but he said, but it's not about the doctors, it's about what the Cuban government is doing. And he said they take away the passports and the countries pay the Cuban government. Well, Jamaica's paying the Cuban government.
But
Jamaica is paying the Cuban government. So
but also Jamaica has a farm work program with the United States and Canada, so Mr. Ratigan, wherein Jamaican farm workers send back some money to the Jamaican government too.
yeah, I don't know how that one worked. I'd have to do some investigation on that. I've heard that, but I don't have specific knowledge of the facts regarding the farm work program and how the farm workers are paid, and if who pays the government of Jamaica, if they're paid at all. Is it the employers or is it the farm workers? And if money is paid to the government of Jamaica, how much is paid relative to how much salary each worker receives? Not sure about that.
Mr. Ratigan, I know you said you didn't watch half of some of the press conference or maybe all of it. But your take on Mr. Rubio's visit to Jamaica, what has Jamaica gained from this?
Remains to be seen. Jeffrey, I have to leave and make it an important call. So we talk.
Okay, and join Mr.
Speak up to your audience.
Thank you. Join Mr. Ratigan.
All right, cool.
Join Mr. Ratigan this evening when he'll be discussing more about the Secretary of State visit to Jamaica. The number to call is 954-529-8030. You can call in now. 954. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Mek Wi Talk program. You're live. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. What are you doing?
Turn off your TV in the background for me, please. Hello?
Yes, sir. What are you doing? Okay.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
How are you doing today?
I'm good, sir.
Okay, so I'm here and watching. I'm a big fan of you anyway, so
Thank you.
I always watch and observe, but I always decide not to really say nothing. But today, I have to really come in because the question about the green card holder.
Yes.
I think she asked a question, and based on the question what she asked, I just think the secretary didn't respond the way how it's supposed to, or the question what she asked, he didn't answer the right way. Because number one, for a green card holder, yes, you are a resident of the United States. But if you have felonies, that's one of the main key what they're looking for.
Yes, I know that, sir. Yes.
Yes. How much felonies you have in the past, and what you're contributing to the state.
Yes.
Because a lot of people here have green card. They don't work, they don't pay no taxes or nothing at all. They just get the green card. As soon as they get the green card, they want to go back and forth to, oh, I'm from Jamaica. This is where I'm living and this is where I want to be. But when you're coming back to the country, then that's when it raises a red flag. You know, so for a citizen, it's different. Even as a citizen.
I'm aware of that part, but what I was saying is this: that the Secretary of State is saying something different from the VP of the United States. That's all I was saying. Because the VP of the United States said something different on a I think was saying, and he said it on, and we're trying to figure it out. You know.
Well, I didn't hear what the Vice President as say clearly, but then again, as to the Prime Minister of Jamaica, he's also in a limbo. He was so shaky on this platform. I think he was overwhelmed, especially with all his ministers, all his people in there. I don't really see much people from the opposition side. I don't know if they was invited or what.
See, everybody's saying that, you know, what we fail to understand, that when a high level thing like this happen, when it comes on to President Obama was in Jamaica when Portia was there.
Yes.
All right. President Obama was at the Mr. Holness was at the airport. When they had the high level discussion at Jamaica House, at that time, Mr. Holness was opposition leader. He was not there, sir.
Okay.
And that's why we fail to understand is one government at a time.
Okay.
This government is in power. So when they have high level discussion, then this government alone will be in the meeting.
Okay.
If the opposition leader reach out to the government and say, I want to meet with the Secretary of State, and the Secretary of State and the government reach out to the American embassy, and the embassy say, okay, the opposition leader want to meet with you, Secretary. If the Secretary say yes, then fine.
Yeah, that would never happen.
If the opposition leader did not reach out to the government about having a meeting with him, then there will be no meeting.
That would never happen. And then the other thing about the work program system. With the work program system, yes, if you come up on the government program, yes, there is a fee where they take away from you and they send it back home. Sometimes you get it back, as if you work, you get to pay your taxes. So at the end of the year, you're able to file back for that taxes, for that money.
Thank you very much. Another call coming in. Thank you for calling in.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome to Mek Wi Talk program. You're live.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tavares.
That's how I'm doing.
You know, the best question I asked out of the four journalists is who?
Who?
Miss Chisholm. We should ask about the China.
Yes, from TVJ.
Yeah, that was the best question. Because if Cuba come up, right, China must come up too.
True.
Right? So I don't understand the Jamaican, other Jamaican journalists. They must see that question to ask. Because matter of fact, China and Cuba operate the same way. With them workers, a part of them percentage of them pay go back to China.
But what I don't understand, hold on, Sasa. The Secretary of State said that the Cubans are exploiting their workers by taking away their passport and blah, 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 blah. So how the Secretary of State never said anything about the Chinese doing the same thing?
Right, they do both of them do the same thing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What is your views on the whole entire press conference then? We have to wrap up.
Yeah, and I don't problem with press conference on with that. Most of the question was targeted to Marco Rubio. It's like the Jamaican people don't respect the Prime Minister.
That's not
Carry
enough.
them
No,
the
hold on. Remember, they only picked 4 persons to ask questions, you know.
yeah, but the 2 Jamaican asked. No them asked
No,
Prime Minister no question.
Sam, you and I know that they vet the questions that people are gonna ask. You know that too.
No, they know bet. They know
Yes, they
bet.
did.
I'm telling you, I just talk somebody who there, they know bet. You think I'm bet and Chizon will ask that question about China? I'm telling you, they know bet it.
They're not gonna allow a journalist from Jamaica to ask the president about his 28 bank account for the secretary.
No Jamaican journalists, no journalists are going to that. No journalists going to that. None.
Anyway,
None.
Sam, thanks for calling in.
All right. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I can take 2 more calls. If you want to call, I can take 2 more calls and we got to run. 9545-298-030. Can take 2 more calls. And remember, at 8:30 this evening, you're going to have come visit Ratigan. Come visit Ratigan. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think, did he say I'm going to be, I don't know. I'll find it. But come this evening. Come visit Ratigan is going to come on. Good night. Good afternoon. Welcome to our program. You're live.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Jeffrey.
Yes, sir.
And your listeners. Yes. I think we're still in a limbo. I wait for the Prime Minister to come clear with the Cuban doctor. I'm still a beat on the question. You understand?
Yes.
So, yeah, so that's my take on it. And with the green card, as long as you're not giving any trouble, then you're a permanent resident in the United States. So you can in and out, but not too long. You understand me? Yeah. But as long as you stay in the line with in line with immigration, yes. You're good to go. You understand me? If you can, when you work, you can file tax and stuff like that. When you have a green card. All right, that's my take on it.
Thanks very much. Good afternoon. Welcome to our program. You're live. Where are you calling from?
Good afternoon, Jeffrey. Calling from New York City, the Big Apple.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I was listening to a part of the discussion with Marco Rubio. And I think the way he speaks, and as you said, much people wasn't allowed to ask questions of their choice. But as far as I'm concerned, the Secretary of State main objective is to rid the Chinese out of Jamaica as much as possible. Yeah. It's been a threat since Obama was in power. And they never give up on that. Jamaica is in the backyard of America. And most of the dollars spent in Jamaica are US dollars. We all know that.
Yeah.
But I think most of what was told to Andrew Holness, the crab, so to speak, in closed doors, I don't think we're going to hear what was said, but we can analyze for ourselves what was told to them. If we dig deep in the basket.
Sorry, yes, sir.
Yes, so I'm saying to you, much more is yet to be said, but I think you will be getting it in a memo.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks, man.
Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work, sir.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much.
Bless up.
Bye-bye. Let me call back this person here. We're going to call back the person who was calling us. Gigi, how you doing? Hello,
yes, yes.
Welcome to Mek Wi Talk program. You're calling?
Yes, Wes here, man.
Hey, so Wes, how you doing?
Okay, I just go back when you had the program earlier. Someone was talking about we have to borrow money to run the country. So I just want to let you know we don't have to. And if
Jamaica is
you
broken, sir.
Yes, but we don't have to. If you read my ebook, which I sent you, you will see how it works. So you don't have to. Okay? So get a chance to read it again, and then we can talk.
All
All
right.
right? Okay.
Good afternoon. Welcome to our program. You're calling? See, I missed
Yes, Jeffrey. Jeffrey.
Yes, go ahead.
I must say congratulations on your tremendous talking program.
Thank you, man.
It's educational and it's intellectual, and I love it. Mark, the Secretary of State, I think he was monitoring your conversation, your program yesterday, because he didn't come confrontational today. His approach was very cordial, and he even was very honest in certain aspects. The only dishonest comment was why the Houthis started to bomb ships going to Israel. And it's just because of the genocidal attitude of the Israeli administration, why the Houthis start rebombing ships going to Israel. But locally, sir, if you would permit me,
Go ahead.
locally, I think you're right in saying that those 4 journalists who asked the 4 questions today were pre-vetted before the questions were asked. I agree with you. I agree with you. But I wish you were there to ask some very pertinent questions.
No, listen to me. Let me tell you something, you know. When they see either me or Wilfred Ratigan, you know, they send somebody to turn me away.
And Jeffrey,
Neither myself nor Ratigan cannot go into any room where any government official is, you know.
you know what I admire about you, sir? You know what I admire about you, sir? Your unselfishness. Your unselfishness. Because I know you mentioned Ratigan program for people to give a listening ears to. Mystic Sensation and a lot of other hosts you direct people to give a listening ears to. I don't hear a lot of chatterbox program referring to other programs. And congratulations for that. Honestly, congratulations for that.
You know, I tell you something, you know. I know a lot of people don't mention my program, but I can tell you one thing. When it comes down to Wilfred Ratigan, he'll mention this program. Other people,
Yeah, I know. Ratigan does that.
you
I know.
I don't have any ego in me not to mention anything about this program. I don't want just only my program to survive.
But right now you're running one of the hottest calling program on YouTube concerning our local issues right now. And congratulations to that. I know I'm not the only one who observed that.
Yes.
And
as you talk about that, my good friend, I just want to let everybody know that come this Monday night, we'll be having a current affair program based on the Caribbean. We'll have some Caribbean lawyers from other parts of the Caribbean to come on. And, you know, I'm not going to tell you any more secret, but we're working on certain things to get some high up of the Caribbean to come on to our program.
You're running one of the hottest calling program that touch on local and Caribbean issues right now. And congratulations to that, boss.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I must say thanks to not only thanking myself, but say thanks to Walking in Divine Purpose. Thanks to especially Dr. Karen Dunkley, who continue to work behind the scenes in the sense of helping this program. Thank you very much for calling, my friend.
Big up yourself. Big up yourself. Okay, cool.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Mek Wi Talk program. You're live, New York. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, Jeffrey. One thing I have to say is that I believe Holness got one win out of this. And I believe that the travel advisory, I would have mentioned it, may go to a level 2. What do you think about that?
I tell you something, you know. I don't know if it'll go to a level 2. It's at a level 3. It's at a level 3 now. Yes.
Right.
Maybe it will go to a level 2. It all depends on when he comes back to the United States and they review the State Department that he's head of. They review the entire system. And, you know, the charge of fear in Jamaica at the American embassy will help them to review it. I don't know. Maybe it will,
But
maybe it won't.
I think they may have to give Holness just one win so them to go back and say this is what he accomplished. Because you look at Edmund Bartlett when he was hearing what Rubio said, was just shaking his head like, yes, yes, you know. So I think that they, you know, but if I just want to comment on it because I know how those JLP supporters are. They'll just run with it if it do come to a level to say, oh, see what the Prime Minister have done, you know.
Well, let us see, because at the end of the day, they're saying, hold on for me. Walking in divine purpose, is it any better now? Let me know if it's any better. The volume is any better now. They're saying that, you know, it may go down to a level 2. I don't know. To be honest, I hear the Secretary of State spoke about it, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it will happen with more.
You know, he was so happy, shaking his head like, yes, yes, you know, thumbs up, you know. But that's our one silver lining I see coming out of it. Probably, you know, like I said, probably, you know.
So apart from anything else, what do you think? What do you think about the thing?
I believe there was a lot of hinting that Rubio kind of, what Mr. Ratigan was saying, probably scolded Mr. Holness behind closed door about especially the China situation, because you have seen what they have done in Panama, that, you know, the canal was divested to some other company from China, you know, they sold it off, like some divestment that went along with that. Since Rubio went to Panama, the canal was kind of, I don't know.
Marco Rubio didn't say he's going to lower the travel advisory, do you know?
No, I didn't say that, but that's the way he answered. I think that maybe that's a carrot for Jamaica. That's like, let me just give them a little carrot right here, so they come up with a little win, or probably like something like that. You know, that's just my opinion. Like I said, that's my opinion. But I think, like I say, your Secretary of State don't come to a country in, like you say, 9 weeks into government to just come say hello. It's I believe it's some stuff that Donald Trump want to see happen, because I believe it's the two issues, like the callers, I say China and Cuba, and mainly China, I think, especially with that port.
Well,
the Kingston War.
Let us see, my friend. Let us see. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, man. Thanks much. Ladies and gentlemen, people, I gotta run. No more calls coming in. There's another call coming, I'll take it, but I gotta run now. I want to say thank you all for coming on. Thank you for all for being a part of this program. Thank you all very much for coming on to the program here on the Mek Wi Talk YouTube channel. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. I want to thanks to all our. I want to say thanks to all our callers, all our people in the chat room. Thanks to Walking in Divine Purpose for hunkering down the chat room, although she's at work. Thank you so very much, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And remember to join Come Visit Ratigan this evening at 8:30 rather. 8:30 US time, 7:30 Jamaica time. I think he's gonna have a robust discussion. Maybe I'll be there, I'm not sure. But I think Head Boy will be over there. Yes, Head Boy will be over there tonight. Maybe I'll be joining him. I'm not sure as yet. But join him this evening at 8:30 rather. 8:30 US time, 7:30 Jamaica time, for a robust discussion. And I know Mr. Ratigan will be digging deep in this discussion in the visit of the Secretary of State who came to Jamaica. So until you hear my voice again, may God bless you. May God bless our island home, Jamaica land we love. And remember to help someone who is in need. God bless you. Like, share, and subscribe to the Mek Wi Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Jeffrey, make sure you take your vitamin. I will try and take the vitamin. I'm going to ask Ratigan if he's taking his vitamins. Thank you all very much, ladies and gentlemen, people. Thank you all very much for your super chat. Thank you all very much for your discussion in the chat room. Very robust. Thank you all for coming on. Thank you all for being a part of this discussion. and this live coverage this afternoon. Until you hear my voice again once more, may God bless you. May God bless our island home, Jamaica land we love. Have a great afternoon. The rest of the Caribbean. Good afternoon.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, Mek Wi Talk, my people, Mek Wi Talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Mek Wi Talk, people, Mek Wi Talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, Mek Wi Talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Mek Wi Talk. People.
Unity is strength. Make we reason. Mek Wi Talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Mek Wi Talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, Mek Wi Talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it not help Jamaica, Mek Wi Talk. Mek Wi Talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Mek Wi Talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Mek Wi Talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, Mek Wi Talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it not help Jamaica, Mek Wi Talk. Mek Wi Talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Mek Wi Talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Mek Wi Talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason. Mek Wi Talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it not help Jamaica, Mek Wi Talk. Mek Wi Talk.